Okay, folks, welcome to the final project repository. Just a quick video showing you the organization because I know there's a lot of files and this is new. So this is the project repository. You'll edit with your team name and your team members here. And you can find your team name and members from this spreadsheet here. And this spreadsheet should have been shared with you in another link on Piazza or through email so that you can see where your team members are before you even create the repository. So here's just some logistics. Please read through these on working with a team and some etiquette. Here are some tips here, and you and your team members will come up with other rules that work for you guys. And briefly, the rubric is below. It's divided up into several parts for each of the milestones in the project, which I will discover or uncover here in a moment. But what I'd like you to know first is there's really two portions of this repository. There's a labs portion and the final project. Labs are just things that will be released weekly on weekly labs that you'll complete totally with your team in this folder. You can create different branches if you like, but just make sure that they're pushed to the master branch or the main branch once you are ready to have your grades or your lab graded. Okay, so now for the final project portion. So once I click on this part, there's a little bit of a read up here. So start by reading the statement of work that describes the project here, okay? And then this will give it a high level overview of what the client wants for this project and what you're working on, okay? And then the next task is to look at the milestones directory. Okay, so it's linked there, or of course you can just click on it here. That's all that there is. You'll notice that there are 0 through 10 milestones currently, and each of these milestones can be really completed in any order that you want, but they're arranged somewhat linearly. So you should click on each of them and then read through them, and there's a little task associated with each one, okay? So the first milestone, for example, is just on planning, or milestone 0. So before you even start, you should plan. And the next one is on creating some use cases, and you'll do that, for instance, in the projects tab here, where you can create a project, my final project, and then create, follow along with some of these tasks here that you read here. Okay, so that's an example of getting started on a milestone 1. Milestone 2, again, is sort of integrating all of your assignments together. 3 is going to be a little bit of a larger one where you do some networking. Okay, so we'll actually talk about some of this in lecture. 3 is probably one of the bigger milestones, so you'll want to think about that. And there is some sample code available for you. 4, the fourth milestone, is actually going to be a check-in with your project manager. So that's listed in the spreadsheet who you'll be checking in with, and they'll list out all of the different milestones and tasks that you should work on. Okay, 5 here is an extra feature that you'll add to the assignment that's of your choosing, so it can diverge a little bit. 6 is another check-in, and so on and so on. So there's a few hard deadlines going from here out that by November 13th you'll have needed to complete or set up a time to meet with your project manager to do a check-in, okay? And what I recommend in order to be successful for check-in 1 is to have milestone 0, 1, and 2 fully completed, okay? And then you'll start working on or thinking about the others. By November 27th, you'll have your next check-in, and I recommend having the following milestones completed. And then by December 9th is when your final deliverable is due. Okay, so that's roughly the structure of these milestones and so on. Now you can do your check-ins earlier. For example, the 27th, I believe, falls on a Tuesday here just before Thanksgiving break, but you could do it anytime earlier. In fact, you could finish your deliverable, well before the 9th if you like, okay? Other things I will mention about the final project repository. The last hard deadline is to fill out a team assessment here with just your name, what your contributions were, and anything else I should know just about working on a team. That is part of the rubric for this year, that you work as a team and not just one person does all the work. And that's what I'll say about this. So it's using SFML and so on. And your project should be organized in, this root directory is where you should be creating your, source files, bin files, etc. One of the milestones, for instance, the networking feature, for instance, has a source, has media, some starter code, but you'll actually want to move this to a root directory in your final project. So this is where you'll actually create your final project structure. Okay, so that's what I'll say about that. Get organized, get started soon, communicate with your teammates, and have fun with the project. It should be a great portfolio piece, and don't be afraid to be creative with it. Okay, myself and the project managers will look forward to working with you throughout the rest of the term. Bye now.